Good day and welcome to Crystal Church. We are busy with a series called Stepping into Love with Reverend Hendricks. You don't want to miss not one episode of this series. So stay tuned, stay in touch. Let's check out Stepping into Love. Check this out.
The sermon title this morning is simply Rekindling First Love. Well, when I use the word first love, I'm not saying, please, you need to understand. I'm not saying go find your first lover. I'm not talking about your high school sweetheart. I'm not talking about your ex. I'm not talking about your ex-husband or your ex-wife. I'm talking about where you are now. I'm saying rekindle first love, meaning do the things that will let your relationship or your marriage work now. So back to the text in verse 4 saying, nevertheless, I have this against you, that you have left your first love. I want to bring something very strong under your attention, is that you left your first love. Remember, therefore, from where you have fallen, repent and do the first works, or else I will come to you quickly and remove your lampstand from its place unless you repent. I would love to use a quote by C.S. Lewis. When you read it at first, it will not make sense. But when you read it again, it will make absolute sense. To love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything and your heart will be wrung and possibly broken. If you want to make sure of keeping it intact, you must give it to no one. Let us pause a bit and look at it. To love at all is to be vulnerable. Place that in your heart. It means love is completely vulnerable. If you don't move, or if you don't accept love as being vulnerable, this is what C.S. Lewis is saying. Love anything, and your heart will be wrung and possibly broken. It means the minute you love, it is a guarantee that your heart will most probably be broken. If you want to make sure of keeping it intact, you must give it to no one. Let me start light-hearted here this morning. I'm saying that if you love your car and somebody scratch your car, it will be broken. If you love a favorable cup in your house and your child just drop it, your heart will be broken. That's being light-hearted. What C.S. Lewis is simply saying that whenever you attach to whatever, your heart will be broken. Well, I've got news for myself and you this morning. It doesn't mean that even when you have genuine love that it will not be broken. Love comes with a package and it will be broken. Well, can you fall in love and fall out of love? Most people ask this question. Say, I used to love my husband, but I don't love him anymore. Can you fall in love? And can you fall out of love? We, to the best of our ability, will answer these following questions that will come up within the service here this morning. But I want them to put the text back for me because I want to show you something in the text again, verse 4. Nevertheless, I have this against you. Look at this. That you have left your first love. It means you did not fall out of it. You left it. It means you walked away from it deliberately. So, I just want to drop that as a thought as we continue within the service. You see, back to can you fall in love and fall out of love? There are certain things that will influence your decisions. For instance, you're happily married, but there are certain things that's happening within your marriage, most probably around influences. For instance, your in-laws, and there's always in-law jokes. I never had an in-law joke because I respected my in-laws too much to have an in-law joke. But there's a lot of in-law jokes. And the in-law jokes is sometimes real. And sometimes it's not in-laws, sometimes it's your immediate mother or your immediate dad. that influence a working, successful marriage? Let me define. I'm saying it is possible that you could be happily married and that your mother or her father or your father are totally responsible for the breakup. Because parents have a tendency of not keeping their noses out of marriage life. I know it's not you. I'm just saying that couple could have done very well without your influence. So what I'm saying here in essence is, what happened? It is sometimes influences that allows you to walk away from marriage. I will most probably look at value changes. In the beginning, you were very hospitable, very kind, very helpful. But you change within value. And that allows the one party to walk away from marriage or love. So we kind of hang kind of signs around us. So we have this sign, do not disturb and don't rock the boat signs. Let me explain. You see, sometimes your relationship is in turmoil solely because you want to keep the peace. We call it peacekeeping. You buy peace on the surface, but underneath it hurts so much that you cannot bear your partner. So meaning, you don't want to bring something up because you don't want to disturb the peace. So you have this peacekeeping board around your neck, or sometimes you have the hind dropping board around your neck. You want to bring something across, but you drop little things here. You don't have the guts to say it directly to your partner or the guts to say it directly to your lover, but now you drop hints. Instead of having a discussion, then you have the hint dropping board. Some of you have the manipulation board around you. So sometimes when you want your way, you start to cry. And sometimes you step in a coaching position, meaning instead of talking and telling your wife, you start coaching her. I'm telling you, this is the last time that you are doing this. If you do that again, this will happen. Let me coach you. So you've got your coaching banner on. Sometimes some people just whine for no reason. Some people use aggression as their banner. Oh, some use guilt. These people use expressions like, after all I have done, how could you? I depend on you. Well, if that's all it means, then I will walk out. So everyone have this do not disturb, the peacekeeping, the hint dropping, the manipulation, the crying, the coaching, the whining, the guilt board, and everyone wants to manipulate in love. Well, is it possible for your love to fade? So seeing someone's love fade away. This is a conversation between a pastor and one of the congregants. So the congregant wanted to see the pastor after a morning service, and he noticed that it's important, and she started saying the following. She said, I hate my husband. And he looked at her and he said, I hate the way he looks. He has gotten fat and doesn't take care of himself. I hate the way he chews with his mouth open. He snores at night and makes all kinds of noises. I just don't love him anymore. I wonder why my wife wasn't snoring, laughing. The preacher asked her, has it always been that way? As the woman thought it over, she began to smile. No, she said, it hasn't always been this way. He used to be kind and gentle and sensitive. I can remember when we were dating how romantic he was. I remember the intimate conversations. Oh, I remember the evenings we spent together. I remember beautiful weddings. Oh, the honeymoon. I remember those early years of struggling together when we had children, trying to find enough money to pay all our bills. The preacher asked, what happened? What happened? Where's the dinner nights? Where's the date nights? Where's the intimate conversations? Where's the romantic evenings? Where is the jokes? Remember, see, she actually enjoyed that part of you. You were funny. And now you're not funny, you just look funny now. You just look funny. You're not funny anymore. You just look funny. You don't shave. Trim your mustache. You just grow everywhere in your nose and in your mouth. And you sloppy. You don't change your socks that regular. You sloppy. You don't care anymore. You go out with sandals. It looks like flip-flops of 1965. You don't care anymore. You do things. What happened? Well, if you consider, I have hurdles here in front of me, and I didn't arrange any sports person to jump it because in any case it's way too close to one another. But the reason why I have hurdles here in front of me is simply because if there is one problem that you are facing right now in your relationship, within your marriage, if there is one problem, deal with it because there's only one difficulty. Jump the hurdle now. Because if you don't jump the hurdle now, and I stack all these hurdles together, that you might do 2. And I stack this together, you might do 3. And I stack this together, I'm not sure if you will be able to get over all these hurdles on time now. And that's the reason why seeing your marriage and your relationship going backwards, and I don't love him anymore, I'm falling out of love because I'm not prepared to deal with my anger. I'm not prepared to deal with my manipulation. I'm not prepared to deal with whatever is happening within your life now. But I tell you that it was easier with the first hurdle, which means the first problem. Let me try to define. Remember, the first night you went to bed, you're not talking to one another. That's your first hurdle. You're just not talking to one another. It's really nothing. And you get to your car and you spin your car off the morning. It's really nothing. But then she phoned and asked her if you could just pay that bill because it seems like you changed your phone number and they phone you now for some bill. And then you have a funny way of answering. Now you are funny now. Now it's not just for no reason, not talking, going to bed. Now you're funny now. If that is not enough, and during the course of the day, something happened. Or the evening on arrival, you thought, okay, I'm going to make up. But that one party is not ready for it. But for some reason, this was easy. But now, this trouble started Sunday night, Sunday morning after the morning service in the car. By Sunday night, the family is now there. One of the family members phoned, and one of the family members said, can you please come over? Then you say, your family is more important than me, go. And then if by the evening, there is so many things. Now, where you go and visit with your family, you don't know how to shut your mouth. You discuss now your husband or your wife with the family. Now, there's no more than 3 hurdles because your whole family is now on board. And then tomorrow, the uncle is going to phone you. I'm saying here, in essence, when you see hurdles, when you see problems, deal with it one by one. Because, somebody say because. If you don't deal with the first hurdle, you won't be able to jump over 6. And that's when you start walking away from one another. Well, I need to ask a few questions to people that was involved with our multimedia impact on relationships. And I just need to ask a few questions based on the multimedia impact on the relationships. So I have this morning here with me, I've got Darren here, and I've got Arlene. The reason why I do have them here, they were in Pastor Regan's conference, and they were discussing the subject around the multimedia problems that we have in how to deal with it. So I want to ask a few questions, and my first question will be, is social media really such a big deal in marriage?
Thanks, Rev. Yes, from some of the research that we've done, we've realized that social media has such a big impact on marriages. So, for instance, Facebook right now is the most popular social media platform, and that has over 2 billion users alone. Studies have shown that social media increases jealousy in relationships. Another interesting one is 1 out of every 5 divorces that are filed in the last 3 years included the word Facebook. And then 1 out of 3 affairs starts online on social media.
My next question, what are some of the dangers of social media?
Some of the dangers in social media, Rev, is that it can be very tempting. The comparison thief and distraction definitely comes in. You might find that you reconnect with an old flame and you start speaking in secret. It opens the door to secrets in your marriage. It's a quality time thief between you and your spouse and your family, and it can affect intimacy in your marriage as well. Sorry, Rev. And one of the things, 2 things that have been brought to our attention recently is human trafficking is a big, big issue on social media, as well as identity theft. We've seen the show Catfish. It's happened to me a couple of years as well. So these are very, very real issues.
Thank you, Aline. What are some of the practical steps couples can take to set boundaries and protect the marriage against the negative effects of social media?
I think one of the first ones that we've had to work on in our marriage is we need to give each other permission to say, put it away. So, when you've got the cell phone in your hand, we've both given each other license to say to the other one, please put it away and focus on me. Another one is allowing access to devices. So she's got all of my passwords, I've got all of her passwords. And also there's no secret folders, because I think these days it's easy to say, yeah, sure, you can check. But then there's another encrypted folder and another secret folder that's got an extra password. So all of those there needs to be complete transparency.
So are you saying that all of us need the IT course?
Yeah, so sign up today. Another one is permission to ask the difficult questions. So if there's anything that makes Arlene feel uncomfortable about me being on my phone, she has the right to ask me. We need to identify and understand our triggers. So if I know that it's an issue for me to look at half-naked women on social media, then it means I need to unfollow them. And I've had situations where I've had to unfollow people that are even our friends, even close friends of ours. And so now they're like, Darren doesn't like my pictures, but I'm not liking their pictures because I don't follow them because I got tired of seeing their boobs and their bums and their bras and their bra straps on social media. And so we've got those boundaries in place. And if she needs to get in touch with us, Arlene will do it from our side so that we've got a strict boundary. Another one is something that we've learned is if you have to hide it from your spouse, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Put your hands together on that one. My final question to you, can it be considered cheating if there is no physical contact, only social media engagement?
Definitely, that's a big yes from us. We see in Matthew 5:28, Jesus says, "But I say anyone who even looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart." And what we've learned over and over again is that with Jesus, it's all about your heart condition. So whatever you think, whatever's in your heart, whatever you've allowed in your mind, which is what we learned last month with last month's series, we have to protect our minds. A lot of the time we have this perception is that, the devil sent this, and the devil made me do it, and the devil. But it's what you've let into your mind. And we know that it always starts with a thought.
Right. Now on that note, I want the congregation, please hand your cell phone to your partner now. Okay, I'm making a joke. Thank you. That was just a joke. Would you agree with me that our modern society tells us that we ought to be happy? You see, the reason why we're walking away from marriages today because we're not prepared to work on marriages right now or relationships right now. We're chasing things that will make us instantly happy. The new curved TV will make me happy now. The new phone will make me happy now. The new quick slimming product will make me happy now. Whatever will make me happy now, that is what I want now. So if you're not happy in your relationship now, trade it for something that will make you happy now. It means the 21st century marriages don't endure marriages and relationships. They look for the closest and the easiest way to get out of marriage. So I'm saying all relationship, all friendship, even though you can even take the sermon as close as friendship as well. Now, what I'm saying in essence here this morning is that people trade so easily. If they're tired of their car, they trade it for a new one. People have the tendency to say, my car's not. First they said, I'm so in love with this car. And then the next line, a year later, they say, I'm not happy with it anymore because the gearbox is giving me problems. Or the lights, or something is giving me problems. But the two words that they connect is like, oh, I love my car. And another word that they will connect to it later is like, I'm not happy with it anymore. What happened with marriage and relationships is the same thing. Oh, I love this person. It's like, ooh, Jesus. If I could just get that girl, I'm so in love. And the next thing, she's not making me happy anymore. As if you are in a relationship to stay happy. I will define that at a later stage. But let me get back to the text. Revelations 2:4. Nevertheless, I have this against you, that you have left your first love. I don't have time to do a proper exegesis on this, but I would love to relate a backdrop story to this. I preached some years back in a place called Bulgaria, on the borderline with Pastor Petkov. On the borderline was Turkey. We were supposed to go into Turkey to go and preach the gospel in Turkey because a good friend of Pastor Petkov worked in Turkey. For years, he labored. For over 20 years, he labored in Turkey. And for the 20 years, he could only see 2 or 3 people receive Jesus Christ as Lord and as personal Savior. You might ask why, but now recently, for the last 3-4 years, there's people receiving Christ every month that what he tried to bring to Christ over 20 years. So which means there is a crack and something is busy happening in Turkey right now as we preach. The message that I want to bring across, Turkey back in the day was a Christian country. Turkey back in the day, that's right, that's why God asked John in Revelation chapter 1 to write these letters to different churches. Because there were 7 candlesticks and everyone represented a church. Let me give you a typical example. The one church will be most probably Crystal Church. The other one will be Mount Carmel. The other one will be the Nazarene Church. The other one will be the Catholic Church. The other one will be the Anglican Church. The other one will be a Methodist Church. I'm just giving you an idea that John had to write to different churches in different areas. This letter was for the church in Ephesus. And the problem with the church in Ephesus was, you have left your first love. I wonder if this was still John's time. What letter John will write to Crystal Church? It's maybe easy to criticize me at Crystal Church or you, or another church could most probably criticize Crystal Church because Crystal Church is not doing certain things the way God wants us to do it. But wait a minute, what about your letter to your church? So you can bring it closer. What about you as an individual? If John had to write a letter to everyone here, what will be in the letter? To you as a person, leave church alone. To you as an individual. Paul will most probably say the same words. You were so involved once with hosting and hostesses, but you've left your first love. John will most probably say something like, can you remember you were a leader in this church once, but you've left your first love? The question is, when you leave something, what do you leave it for? That's the question that you need to answer. I need to answer that question here this morning. So, what to do to rekindle that first love? And I want to kind of give you a few answers around how to rekindle first love, meaning how to bring your love back to its original state. So you, Carl Hendricks, you're the preacher of this church, you're the pastor of this church, you lead this congregation. Do you also have to concentrate on these things? You bet on that. I have the same marriages like yours. I have to work in the same way like you. I have to pay bills just like you. I have to drive my car just like you. I have to stand in queues just like you. I have to do things just like you. I'm not immune towards this based on the mere fact that I'm a pastor or a preacher in this church. There is no special perks for me when it comes to marriage. I had to work as hard as you. To rekindle first love will demand hard work. Who would love to agree with me that hard work doesn't happen in a vacuum? You cannot put something in a corner and expect it to work. They occur, no, hard work occur when the couples have the decency to risk of sharing what is to sharing of what is happening with them and in their hearts right now. That's hard work. Who here would love to agree with me? You don't have to raise your hands, but my hand is up already. It's harder for me to, let me rephrase. It's easier for me to counsel somebody at church that have marital problems, and it's harder for me to counsel myself when I have marital problems. Because you know what? You don't know which way it will go, and it's only the two of you in the room. You don't know which way it will go because the things that you're going to discuss is most probably hard. So that makes it difficult. So would you agree in essence that if you want to rekindle your first love, it will demand hard work and also great sincerity if you want to let it work. Now, the reasons why the hurdles move in between is because you were not prepared to do the hard work. So if you don't do the hard work, that will remain. I will act as if he didn't say that. I will act as if I didn't notice that. Because it's hard work. I need to move on. To rekindle first love is to change yourself and not your partner. Somebody say, oh my God. If you love someone and think that you will alter him in order to alter your marriage, you are sadly mistaken. You need to alter yourself. You need to alter your behavior. And even if it's uncomfortable, think again. If you want to change, put change on the table. If you want change, place it on the table. Let me use an example. If I told my husband how I feel about his constant traveling, he would get defensive and withdraw even more. There's ways to say it. Don't drip what you want to say. Say it. And don't say it when you're angry. Sometimes you need to count, not to 100. Some of you might count to 100,000. Because that's how long you take to calm down. And count with him. Take the walks. 100,000 walks will take me from my house to church at least. And then by now, think if you want to address the same thing again. Because if you want change, you need to start with yourself and not your partner. Maybe you need to look at your own attitude. Maybe you need to look at how you conduct a simple thing like, let me use a typical example. Let's say your children is still underage and they come in late and you don't like that. They're under 18. They come in late and you don't like the idea that they're coming in late. You then call them and you can have one of two conversations. I'm telling you, it's the last time that you're coming in late. Or you can say, can we go for coffee? We're very concerned as mom and dad when you come in late. This is what we experience when you're on the road. I'd love you, please, to respect that. And when you're one day a grown-up man, you can make your own decisions. But for now, I will appreciate this. Which result do you think will be the best? The coffee one. Let me move on. To rekindle first love is to address our own fears and our own pain. Do you know sometimes we walk away from love and we say we fall out of love is because we struggle with the fears and the pain. We need to rekindle and look at that again. So all arguments stem from our own fear and our own pain. When we upset, we don't check on ourselves. Because when you start to check on yourself, maybe there are certain things in your mother's marriage that you never approach her about, and now you bring it to your marriage. So there's fears maybe that when you notice your dad acted like that in your parents' marriage, they walked out on one another, and you see the same symptoms here, but you never address that symptoms. You never place it on the table, but you see the symptoms, and now what you do, you now add up. You have the answer now that your marriage is leading towards divorce because you never dealt with past fears. As I preach here this morning, the Lord will show you clearly about what's your pain that you bring to your marriage and your relationship. Oh, does this sound familiar? I trust no man. Does this sound familiar? All men. Does that sound familiar? It seems like yes. But you need to address that deep pain so that this marriage may work. Look here. I feel very sorry for people who went through a divorce. Sometimes there's sincerity in it, and one partner set it up and the other never noticed it coming. You cannot, all I want to say is it takes two to tango. I'm saying the mistakes that most people make in their first marriage, they try to correct in their second marriage. Because why can you not work on your marriage now and fix the things now? Okay, why? I'm a little surprised, and I don't need answers on this, but I'm surprised that women, while they're married, they are overweight, and when they go through a divorce, they slim. How the hell do you get that right? I'm confused. If divorce lets you lose weight, is that really the reason? No. The reason is you want to be noticed again. So I'm saying, why do you not make yourself noticeable now? Throw that tummy off now, because how is it that tummy all of a sudden hear you when you divorce? Tummy, go down. Tummy, go down. I don't want to. I want a divorce, then I'll go down. I'm saying, deal with your pain. My next point to rekindle first love is to understand that men and women are very different. Do you know, I will hate it if my wife wants to make me her. She married me because of me. Why didn't she marry herself? Why didn't you marry yourself? But you marry me because of me. Look, if you look around here, there's a lot of handsome men in this church. Some men say, oh yeah. Please don't say, oh yeah. Say, oh yeah, like a man. Oh yeah. I say there's a lot of handsome men in this church. Somebody say, oh yeah. There's some handsome men in this church. Stay unique. If the lady needs to be very honest with you to say, the reason why I married you was because of I love your intellectual capacity, the way you were reasoning. Now, the decisions that you make now, such bad decisions, I can't even think that it's the same person. I married you because you're funny. You were funny. You always let me laugh. You're funny. You were funny. And it's only me who used to laugh for your jokes. Not even your mother laughed. I laugh for your jokes. I marry you because I love you for your jokes. And I marry you because you had a golden heart. I marry you because I notice how you handle the poor. I marry you for that reasons. I'm saying, don't change one another, because I've noticed in marriages when the one partner is an angry person, the other partner turns into an angry person as well. You need to help one another. Say, baby, I don't know you like this. Jump out of bed and say, who is this? You are an angry woman. And I all these years didn't want to tell you. When you're angry, you look ugly. To rekindle love is to honor each other in some way every day. Honor each other in some way every day. Every morning, you have the opportunity to make your relationship sweeter and deeper by recommitting yourself to your lover. Cherish it. Respect it. Honor it. Find something. This morning, it's not because I'm going to preach the sermon that I try something different, but I kissed my wife on the lips, and then I kissed on the left cheek, and I kissed on the right one, and by the end of all my kisses here on the forehead, she was like, it's not even Valentine's. It's like, yes, baby, yes. Do you know what I'm saying? Instead of being ugly, dig back sikte. Here, who wants to wake up next to somebody's dig back? You went to bed, dig back. You get up, dig back. You during the day, you dig back. The phone call is dig back. You just a whole dig back person. Want to be married? And then, when we get to the point of counseling, then you say, she's forever upset. But you know what? You never place the stuff on the table. You allow the hurdles, one to the other, to pile up. And now, you know when problems reach the pastor? It's when it's too late. And then the person on the other side of the table say, you will not understand what it is to be married to this witch. And she's sitting right there. She's sitting right there next to him. Well, what about your choices? Who picked the witch? Who went to her father's house and sitting there and burned candles up? Who asked her to marry you? So witch means if she's a witch, you are a... You've made your choices. Now all of a sudden, your eyes open 10 years down marriage. You stepped out. The text is saying, you step away from your first love. Not falling out. You stepped away from your first love. You walked away from your first love. How? If you don't pay your electricity bill, and here you get the bill, all of a sudden, end of the month, no, they cut your lights outside. Then all of a sudden you say, they cut my lights. It's like you planned it. Do they still repossess cars? Do they still repossess cars? So you're surprised when they come to repossess your car. Who planned it? Who planned the divorce? If you stand at the altar, look, I have the greatest respect, and the lawyers that's in this house will understand the angle I'm coming from, because you've seen stuff that I've never noticed, I don't work with it on a daily basis. But you know what? If I personally have a choice with couples, I will always recommend to marry in community of property. I tell you, but today, the couples come to the podium with the idea of divorce already. So if I had to ask them to place their vision down, in their vision will be, I'm getting married with the potential of getting divorced. I'm asking the Crystal family here, rekindle your first love again. Go out of your way today. Leave the fights for God's sake and for heaven's sake and for whoever's sake. If you fight about money, fix it now. And now all of a sudden, it's like the neighbors have a big car. You need a big car. The measurables are so wrong in relationships today. I want to call everybody back to love again. Is there anyone here who'd love to witness with me? Let's get back to love again. Let's get back to love again. To rekindle first love is to go for regular tune-ups. It means you cannot just drive the car. You know, there's people, they have a motor plan on their car, but they still just drive the thing. They don't take it away. You know, there are people, they say, when your car reaches the first 10,000, please take it it's free. God knows their car is already standing on 15,000, 5,000 over motor plan. And then on 15,000, something goes wrong. They rocked up at the garage, and the garage says, sir, we would love to honor this, but your car was supposed to be here on 10,000. Why are you only bringing it on 15,000? Therefore, we cannot fix the vehicle because it's 5,000 overdue. I'm saying to marriages here, when we come to church on a Sunday, please don't sleep in because you need a tune-up on a Sunday. I'm saying here, when there's a conference for marriages, come to the conference. Don't stay there. Let your roof leak, but come to the house of God because you need a tune-up. What you hear on a Sunday, you can apply on a Monday. You can fail that subject and pass your marriage. You can fail anything else, but together you will make it. Oh, God, help us here this morning. I'm sure you will. Is there any agreement on that? Shout with me, rekindle first love. So, in March, we will have a conference with our marriage connections with Pastor Regan and Pastor Colleen, the 29th and the 30th of March, Love Reboot. It will be in the side hall there. It sees 180 people. I really just trust. Do you know what's sad? You know what's sad? Is that people wants to come for a tune-up when they're already on 15,000. Because there's some people that's so big in our church, they don't think that they need marriage counseling or anything, but when problems hit, then they on 15,000. You know what? I wonder if I open registrations up to this marriage conference, this mini conference that will be only a one-day conference. I wonder if 180, what's half of 180? I wonder if 90 people will sign up. 90 couples. Can we even get 90 couples here that think they need a tune-up? Because you don't think you need a tune-up because you don't think it's important. You think you're okay. But I've got news for you. I attend, even if I'm not the guest speaker. I sit there, even though I'm not preaching. I sit there and listen to others. Do you know, I have people like Dr. Chris Ludovic that counsel me around marriage, like Frank Thomas that counsel me around marriage. I'm saying here, if you don't have anyone, you're in danger of 15,000. Yeah, I thought it's okay. I thought it will just go over like all the other times. To rekindle first love is to own your own happiness. Please say that line with me. To rekindle first love is to own your own happiness. No other person can make you happy. Do you know if you're an unhappy person, it's so contagious. You're unhappy at home, you're unhappy at work. And you know what? Sometimes some people are more happier at work than at home. You must ask yourself, why? Why don't you fix happiness at home? Some people are happy at home and unhappy at work. Why? Why don't you fix happiness at work? I'm saying you are unhappy, but you want to blame me when something goes wrong with your marriage. Because you don't want to own up for your own happiness. Now, I must make you happy every morning. I must wake you up every morning and say, hello, hello, morning. I'll go, as the pastor of this church, I will go to everyone's house. You must be happy today. Happy, happy, happy. You must own your own happiness. If you're unhappy, how do you think your spouse and your partner will be happy if you are a whole miserable person? In collective, you are a miserable person. And that miserable feeling don't come overnight. It's over a period of time. You used to laugh a lot. You don't. You used to crack yourself for your spouse, partner. You're not. Now you're just unhappy. You're just unhappy. You drive to church and you fight. You go home, you fight. You eat at a table and you fight. Do you know, in our home, I've learned something many years back. That was the time when I still did counseling myself. Now I'm a bad counselor. Don't come to me. Go to Pastor Neil. My counseling is like this. What's your problem? No, she's not talking to me. Talk to him. Are you okay now? Come pray. Kneel here. Father, she's talking to him now. Bless this marriage in Jesus' name. Go home. Do you know I don't have energy for walking with people that don't want to walk with themselves? Oh, I tell you, if you watch if a lady walks up to me and say, our marriage is in trouble, but my partner don't want to come, there's nothing that God and me together can do. Not God, not Jesus, and not the Holy Ghost, because it takes two to tango. Both must be willing to save the marriage. You cannot fake this thing. It's a hard thing. It's a vulnerable thing. When you open yourself up for love, you open yourself up for a lot of things. But you need to work through it. Work through it. Let me continue. To rekindle first love is to give what you want to get. The computer guys will know. A computer cannot give you a program if the software is not in it. Okay, let's get to us. You cannot expect to go on to do online banking if you don't have the app. If you want your spouse to love you, love first. So put the app in him. I place now in you the app of love. Yeah, I'm serious, because in order for you to get that app in the other person is you act that way. The app have a way of transferring automatically. Oof, Jesus. Help us, Lord. Our needs change with time. It's just the two of us. Just the two of us. And then the first baby. 9 months pregnant. Poof, birth. Wind. Milk. Sleepless nights. 1 year out of the relationship. 1 year out of rekindling. Second baby. Boom. Just between two babies. 2 years can be. Brother, if you cannot even handle the two babies, wait for the hysterectomy. Yay. You must be strong, boy. You must be strong. Don't pray when I preach like this. Who was that? When I said that, he made that. He said, I think he was saying, God, thank you, my wife still didn't have a hysterectomy. Or he's saying, I understand. Guys, 6 weeks out of action. 6 weeks. You will look like this. 6 weeks. closer, then she kicks everything. I'm saying, oh, I'm so hot. What makes you hot? Is it me? No! I'm saying here, you cannot walk away from your marriage while your wife was carrying 9 months and while she was breaking wind. You cannot go club during those times. This is the time that you will stand with her because it's your baby. It's your second baby. Hysterectomy will give you a healthy life further. It's your wife. You need to stand firm. Stand tall. It doesn't matter if the bank phones you for the house or the car or for arrears or account. It doesn't matter if family is turning their backs on you. You need to stand together because you are in it for what? You are in it for love. You are in it for love. It's more. You're in it forever. This is not the K53 driving school. I'm about to close. True love goes beyond the passion of romance and even finding a partner for the sake of being married. I'm saying here to any young man and to any woman here, if you fight in your courtship every day, don't marry. Because you're going to open your eyes every day in the same face. If you can't handle her face for an hour, how will you handle her face for 24/7? If you want to marry because she wears short dresses, God help me now. Jesus. Okay. If this don't come out as a joke, just laugh to let me feel good. So this one guy noticed this lady singing at the opera. Beautiful voice. Beautiful voice. He was so in love. And he was so in love with the voice. Man, she sings like, oh, this girl can sing. And then he decided he will buy tickets every time when it's a season. He follow a traveler. And then one day he arranged a dinner and then things happened and he married her. And then at the wedding night, she was dressed to kill. He's like, oh, she's even better. And then she asked for a glass and she took her teeth out both top and bottom. Now she was like this. And then she removed the one glass eye, put in another glass. You know when you put the eye in a glass, that eye goes twice as that eye is big. And then you notice her screw the one leg off. And now she looks like this. Then he said, sing, baby. Boy, if you're not sure what you allow yourself in, you're going to say, sing, baby, sing. I'm saying now, if you fight every day, separate now. Because you're not going to be good in marriage. You're a failure in courtship. If you say, we're closer when we fight, footsack. How can you be closer? No, I love him more when he moor me. Really? I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. You're mad. And if your mother used to tell you that she loves your father more, now that tell your mother she must go to hell. Because she's lying. Love is beautiful. Love is kind. Love is patient. Love don't care the mistakes and the defaults. I love you because I love you. Look, I'm not saying that those that's married now and you can't stand your spouse must go through divorce. I'm saying rekindle your love. Because if you don't rekindle your love, the devil will set somebody up at your workplace where you play golf, where you go for netball, where you go through the gym, wherever. Because you see, if you don't deal with the first hurdle, the devil himself will put some hurdle in place because you're taking too long. His ultimate goal is to bring destructions to you and your children and your family. His ultimate goal is to make you unhappy, though you think you're buying happiness. His ultimate goal is to bring you down. The devil's ultimate goal is to destroy you. So that's why I'm saying, baby, start the old things again. Rekindle love. Don't believe. Who is it? Is it Barry White? Who's saying, baby, let's just kiss and say goodbye. Footsack, Barry. Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. Give me love. Give me rekindling. Find a song that will knit you together again. Find that song. Find the song of the first dinner night. Remember the first night you didn't even want it to chew. You didn't want it to eat crippies because it makes noise. You see eat crippies like, now you eat. Shut up. Close your mouth. Some will catch it another time. Let me just get out of the sermon because I'm completely losing it here. I'm saying here, we used to love one another. The reason why we're taking love slightly or so light today is because we use this word too lightly. We love food, we love music, we love jokes, we love everything. And the reason why it's so easy to use it is safe because we are not exposed to, if you say, that's a great cup of coffee, because the coffee cannot reject you. The song from a favorite band cannot reject you. We need to get back to love. We need to get back to love. Marriage, I'm closing, is a dam against the flood of fornication and adultery. People that don't want to get married and they just want to stay together, don't want to come to commitment because they don't want this dam in their life. Because this dam, which is called marriage, will keep you in control. You cannot just walk out here. You must go home, baby, go home. No. Go home, baby, go home. This thing puts you in perimeters. After work is home. It structures you. You cannot sleep with everyone. This thing structures you. You cannot just do what you feel you want to do. You cannot just send flowers to everybody. Seeing that for the 14th of February is Valentine's Day. Baby, buy the biggest bouquet for your baby and do something special on Valentine's Day or Valentine's night. Baby, if you don't have lovely underwear, go look for a red curtain at Plaza. Cut it up and just put a neck there and put a red curtain on. But baby, do something for your marriage. Leave the other people's marriages alone. Leave the people at work alone. Do something for yourself. Go buy the chocolates for yourself. Go buy the card for yourself. And Valentine is not just for you, for the man to the woman. The woman must also do something for the man. I don't know how you will look in a curtain underwear, but try it. I'm dead serious when I say people fall out of love during Valentine. I'm dead serious when I say people lose their virginity during Valentine. I'm dead serious to say people break up other people's marriages during Valentine. I'm dead serious when I preach this. So I'm saying, if Carl Hendricks was not a married man, I would have been out of control. Because the marriage is like a perimeter. It's like a stop sign. Stop. A hill sign. A circle or a roundabout, as the English will say, a roundabout. It is there for you. If the robot is red, stop. If it's amber, be cautious, but stop. If it's green, go. Those things are dams in place. You understand at work. You have ethics at work. You have policies at work. The CEO cannot just do what he want to do. There's things, there's perimeters. You cannot just do what you want to do. There's perimeters. But isn't it funny that when it comes to marriage, you can just be any way and there's no rules? K53. This is a light. It's an indicator. This is the bumper. You touch it. This is the fender. This is a mirror. You understand. You reverse. You look there. You before you change lanes, just look. Then you change the lane. All of a sudden, you don't want to get married because you want freedom. Freedom. You don't want to get married because you want to walk out at any time. You don't want to get married. You want the lady to be in suspense all day. You don't know her heart. Do you know there are times when things look so romantic and she even phone a friend and she say, he's going to pop the question. And when you get there, then he say, happy birthday. It's like, I thought, okay, thank you for my birthday. But there was other birthdays as well. You think you're dealing with a hardened heart person. I tell you today, if you pin that lady down and you ask her in the deepest recesses of her heart, what do you want? She'll say, I want to be with this man legally as well. There's not a lot of claps. Can I try one more time? Marriage keep Carl Hendricks in place. A person that lives together can just club in and have sex with everybody and still come home and bring you your package, which is called HIV. And married men that don't know that this is a perimeter, don't come with your delivery from that woman that you don't even know where she is sleeping. Marriage is a dam against the flood of fornication and adultery. I'm talking to those that's divorcing their spouses for another woman's husband. It's evil, it's filthy and ungodly, and there is nothing right about it. Wednesday, stand up happy. Thursday, but at least start Wednesday. Stand up happy and do what's right. I know I went well over my time. I just want to use this opportunity to say, happy Valentine. Trust that you enjoyed today's sermon. If you are in the nearby Johannesburg area, please join us at 7 Walton Street, Johannesburg. God bless you and thank you.